offering things to get you to cross the floor. That creates ethical issues. That also, what it does is it really upsets other people in the caucus.
This mess is getting worse. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we're getting more details about floor crosser Michael Ma. Thought I was going to say General. Well, no, we've got Sam Cooper coming out with his absolute bombshell, connecting Michael Ma to none other than the Chinese Communist Party. Let's jump into this. Starting this episode off, we've got David Coletto posting this. We've got Prime Minister Carney has a net favorability of plus 32 in Nova Scotia. Is that right? This here is basically an IQ test that's being run across Canada. Leader favorability in Nova Scotia. Time to wake up, people. This is sad, but we're going to change this. Just remember, there's like 40,000 votes separated the difference between the Conservatives winning the last election and the Liberals. Moving ahead with global news, we've got record high of calls to human trafficking hotline in Canada. Human trafficking epidemic is directly linked to mass immigration from the R-word culture countries. I don't know if that's true, but if we look at the timelines of how this stuff is escalating, the correlation sure does line up. Moving ahead, we've got quite this bombshell here. Former South Korean President Yoon receives life sentence for imposing martial law. I wonder who else did that. Did somebody do that in Canada? Did somebody invoke the Emergencies Act? I can't remember. When will Trudeau get a life sentence for illegally imposing martial law too? Good question. Will Justin Trudeau get the same treatment, or will he just enjoy his new $4.5 million mansion with 4 wood-burning fireplaces? Mr. Eco Green is not so eco and green after all, is he? Moving ahead from Blacklock's reporter, we've got BC First Nation confirms it never tried to recover the alleged graves of the 215 residential school students, despite claiming $12 million in federal funding for exhumation of remains. That's right. They took the money and they ran. They stole taxpayer money and did not dig into the ground whatsoever. This is just straight up fraud is what this is. There's nothing else to say here. They just stole taxpayer money. In some good news here, we've got an update here on Maya. This is coming from her father. Maya is now starting to breathe on her own, so they've had to adjust her ventilator, tone it down a bit because her lungs are starting to work again. She wasn't supposed to last the night after the horrible event in Tumbler Ridge, and here she is a week later. She's still fighting. Moving ahead, we've got Prince Andrew. He has been arrested because of what's in the Epstein files. This guy is a monster. The very same Prince Andrew that held a palace dinner that Mark Carney attended after the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Mark Carney keeps very interesting company, doesn't he? Got some updates here on Matt Genereux. We've got people showing up at his office here as Canada Proud points. Genereux's constituents are desperately trying to get a hold of him to understand why he betrayed them, and well, we can see here it says he's only available by appointment only. You can also hear the phone ringing. Nobody's home. Of course, Genereux's not going to take any calls or talk to anyone. We got some reactions on the street here. This is coming from City News, and you can notice here the reactions. What do they get? They get more people in favor of this than people opposing it, of course, because this sways public opinion.
Well, that is great news for me because it means I can vote for him. I'm thrilled.
It's terrible. He hijacked our votes. Like, I just find it sick. I hate it. It makes me so mad. It makes me just lose a faith in our system. It's corrupt.
That's great. We can elect him next time.
You like the Liberals?
Yeah, I like Liberals, of course. Yeah.
What do you think about people that switch teams like?
I don't care about people. I only care about their party.
See that? 2-1. In reality, if they went and interviewed 100 people, there'd probably be like 20 or 30 Liberals max and 70 or 80 Conservatives that would be pissed off. This is how they sway public opinion. We got this clip here on CBC. I was mentioning this the other day. Matt Genereux getting this special advisor role to Mark Carney. Seems like he was offered something, a bribe, to join the Liberal Party.
Inducements is the biggest concern. So, in this particular case, you've got Genereux, he's being given a position as a special advisor. What that does is that starts raising questions of whether you as Prime Minister and your people around you are offering things to get you to cross the floor. That creates ethical issues. That also, what it does is it really upsets other people in the caucus who have been loyal Liberals who are not getting those perks and those privileges. I think, though, that we really need to think about rules around this. And
so he goes into just saying how there should be a 30-day cooling off period where people have to sit as an independent. I don't think that's going to help anything. This needs to go to a by-election, because if there's a 30-day period, people can then just sit there for 30 days and then cross the floor and already have it all planned out. It just delays it a little bit. That doesn't solve the problem of them betraying their constituents. Now, going back to what he said there about offering something to Matt Genereux here, but what did Chris D'Entremont get? Nothing. Now, Michael Ma, we'll get to him in a second here, seems like he may be getting taken well care of in other places, maybe maybe in another country. But Matt Genereux, he's getting something where D'Entremont is not. So now is D'Entremont going to be pissed off about this? Not to mention, if he's joining the Liberal Party and getting this special advisor role, is he getting paid for this? Well, in America, this is called racketeering. This is against the law. It's bribery. We don't have the same laws here. We do have other laws. I don't know if they apply here. But then again, even if it did apply, would it be enforced? Because the brass of the RCMP are highly corrupt and keep protecting the Liberal Party of Canada. We know that through the SNC-Lavalin scandal with Justin Trudeau, where he got protected. You even see in South Korea there, you getting a life sentence. What's Justin Trudeau getting? A whole lot of nothing, a big $4.5 million mansion. Now, jumping into Michael Ma, we've got Sam Cooper dropping this bombshell. Exclusive. Floor crossing MP Michael Ma was the director of group explicitly named as United Front organization in landmark Jamestown Foundation study. This is unbelievable. Throughout this article, it talks about the CCCA, which is the Chinese Canadian Conservative Association, which endorsed Ma. Pressure to conservative leaders to resign is now identified as a major new study from Washington think tank. It says here the diaspora organization that backed conservative turned liberal Michael Ma and counted him as a former director is now explicitly named in a landmark new study as part of the Chinese Communist Party's overseas United Front influence network. Now, just a little refresher for everyone, or for anyone who's new around here, the United Front Work Department, I've got it mapped out on here, or thus far what I have, is this group here. This is essentially China's Foreign Affairs Department, but it's essentially their propaganda department of China to try to push propaganda, Chinese propaganda, all across the world and have control as much as possible in every single country. So they have numerous organizations that they try to influence that all report to the United Front Work Department, which directly answers to Xi Jinping. And so that's how I have them all connected here. Most of these organizations directly have connections to the United Front Work Department, including Canada-China Federation of Entrepreneurs, Canadian Chinese Media News Network, Confederation of Toronto Chinese Canadian Organizations, the Canada-Toronto Fuqing Business Association, the Jiangsu International Chamber of Commerce in China. The only one I haven't found a direct connection to is this one, the Toronto Chinese Community Federation. And then we've got a couple more over here, the Canada Committee 100 Society, the Wenzhou Friendship Society, and the Canada-China Business Council, the very same council that Mark Carney just gave $12,000 to just back in October 24th, 2025. Side note, Global Affairs Canada, there's a bonus far-off ripoff for you. So among all these organizations, there's another one which I don't even have on here, which is the one named here. It's the CCCA, the Chinese Canadian Conservative Association. This landmark study pointing out that Michael Ma was a director of that organization, which answers to the United Front Work Department. So as Sam Cooper pointing out here, the Jamestown Foundation's Mapping Overseas United Front Work Department in Democratic States, published this month, identifies 575 documented organizations operating inside Canada, nearly 5 times per capita penetration rate of the United States and the highest density among the 4 democracies surveyed. So Sam Cooper has that here laid out with a graphic, and we can see per capita, while America has 967 per capita, Canada at 575 is far more than America, considering their population is 350 million people, and we're only 40 million, essentially 9 times the population in America. And you see the different colors here. It's identity-based organization, business associations, blue, professional organization is this orange color, yellow is student organizations. So these are different organizations with the different influences coming from the United Front Work Department from China, trying to infiltrate our country. And we can see United Kingdom and Germany here. So Canada per capita is blowing everyone else out of the water. And are we really surprised with this when we see all the connections here between the Liberal Party and China? I mean, this is not a surprise. It's sad that our country's been compromised by our own government, but it's not shocking. Right? It's not even just the Liberals, like David Eby directly wrapped up in China himself.
Day in, day out, the Liberals have shown us whom they truly value. They cater to the common criminals with fairness for the thief, murder, and drug dealer, and firmness for the honest citizen and compliant taxpayer. This is the party you've just joined here. These are your words from November and December.
In order to fight that, being on the opposition, to be criticizing and deepening that division, I decided to roll up my sleeves and actually do something.
Going on here, it says the Chinese language outlets, including EZCA, show Ma listed as a director of the CCC in 2019 with additional Chinese language coverage, later describing him as a leader. The Jamestown report now provides the analytical and evidentiary framework that places those ties and the CCCA's sustained pattern of political intervention squarely within the documented United Front system. Basically saying that Michael Ma, a director of this group, was working directly with the United Front Work Department Department? As in, Michael Ma, was he installed there? Was he installed in the Conservative Party as an agent of China? That's the question here.
I have now better access to ministers and the Prime Minister.
Sam goes on to say here, the Jamestown's report's most strategically significant finding, and one that most directly illuminates the full arc of the Ma story. It is the documentation of what researchers describe as the CCP's deliberately non-ideological approach to diaspora political organizations. The party, the report states, cultivates corresponding organizations within every major political party in host countries precisely because it is the most beneficial for the CCP to be able to address all sides.
I think this is a better approach than creating very negative views.
What does this all mean? The Chinese Communist Party, they are intentionally placing people in every party possible because they want to have the full amount of control and be able to activate that control when it's most beneficial to them. And in this case, what was the most beneficial situation is to have Michael Ma installed in the Conservative Party and activate him for Mark Carney, because Mark Carney is pro-China. He went and did business with China. Last year, he's been meeting with Chinese officials for years now, whether it was when he was a governor of the Bank of England, whether it is the chair of Brookfield. Mark Carney's wrapped up in China, and it was best for China to have someone in the Conservative Party to help him get a majority government in this case. He's not quite there, but if this works out, then China's plan, their foreign interference, will have been completely successful. So you want to check out the full article here. This is just a snippet of it. Be sure to check out Sam Cooper's blog here, thebureau.news. Here's one of the most recent articles from easyca.ca, pumping up Michael Ma's run here as conservative. You know, they just blast us all over this page here. But we scroll up to the top, you'll notice something else here. Who's that right there? It's Tim Hodgson. That links right to his own website. They have a lot of pride putting him on their website too, don't they? Moving ahead, iPolitics posting this. At the convention, he got 87.4% of the vote. That's not really what it felt like in the caucus, nor what I feel on the ground, the MP said. What is this? Another one of these things where they're like, oh, Conservative MP says Poilievre's future could be in doubt if Liberals secure majority. They stir up all sorts of stuff. I don't believe any of this crap anymore. I mean, a lot of this was not believable in the first place, but, you know, after seeing Rosemary Barton just openly lying about the sentiment in Alberta about Mark Carney and his net zero agenda and just admitting that they openly lie, how do you take any of these organizations serious? Is it possible there's a Conservative MP that said this? Maybe it was Matt Genereux. Who knows? Moving ahead, we've got Russia offers $12 trillion in deals in exchange for lifting sanctions, The Economist reports. Russia is trying to get out from underneath those sanctions. We've got this one here, breaking. Axios reports that there is evidence that the U.S. is going to begin releasing their pow-pows in Iran. It's imminent, and Israel is preparing for a scenario of combat within days. We've been seeing the Americans moving the ships over there. It says weeks-long, full-fledged combat, unlike Venezuela. Joint U.S.-Israel campaign. In the scope of a 12-day combat in June, U.S. Armada now consists of 2 aircraft carriers, 12 warships, hundreds of fighter jets, and multiple air defense systems. More than 150 U.S. military cargo flights have moved weapons systems and ammunition to the Middle East, and another 50 fighter jets in 24 hours, including F-35s, F-22s, and F-16s. Oil prices are surging at $64 a barrel on the news. We've got Donald Trump moving over a bunch of his toys from America, positioning them around Iran, and we have the UK blocking Trump from using RFA bases for potential strikes on Iran. This is not going to end well for Starmer. We've got a few details here. Bloc is owing concerns that it would breach international law. Trump has withdrawn support from Keir Starmer's Chagos Island deal. White House is still reportedly preparing detailed plans for strike on Iran. Strikes expected to use both Diego Garcia and RAF Fairford in the UK. These bases are home to America's fleet of heavy bombers in Europe. Moving ahead, we've got Let the Propaganda Begin. Leah True Crime posting this. What do we have? CTV News posting food inflation spike 7.3 in January. Here's what's driving the increase. Let's just diminish this a little bit. It's also being pushed out by CP24. So I believe they put this into some sort of deployment mechanism that just goes across all of them. So I don't know if this is necessarily propaganda, or a shared message, but this whole thing of here's what's driving the increase. Obviously, they're going to say, oh, it's Donald Trump, it's this and that, blame everything except Carney. If it's not the food industry, it's the healthcare industry that's completely crumbling. We've got a doctor on Bloomberg here blowing this up.
So you, correct me if I'm wrong, believe that the introduction of some private healthcare in Canada could take the strain off of the public healthcare system. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. So Canada is the only country in the world where private health insurance is illegal. And that alone sends a message. And we're talking, when we compare our system to countries that offer universal healthcare, developed countries, we come in last in access, last in equity. We are coming last in looking after low-income groups, and yet we're at the top when it comes to costs. And, I use the sports analogy. If you were the manager or coach of a hockey team and you were at the bottom of the league, but spending more than those at the top of the league, wouldn't you look at what those teams are doing and try and learn from their methods? And Canada hasn't done that. We have the only system in the world that operates as a state monopoly and forces innocent patients to suffer and die on wait lists.
Yeah, it's well said. I mean, you're last in the league, but you got the biggest cost. Maybe we should be looking at what's going on. As of right now, if somebody really needs to get a procedure done, they're going to go to Dubai, they'll go down to America and just pay for it versus dying in Canada waiting for something serious to get done. And that's just the sad truth. Too many people coming over from all around the world abusing our healthcare system. This crap has to end. Our Canadian healthcare should only be for Canadians. We've been looking for a family doctor for 7 years now. My daughter went through spinal surgery and we have no one but the specialist to go see. It's a joke and people still admire our system. Took 3 years to get the surgery because of wait times. The only reason I have a doctor is because my next door neighbor begged my doctor to take me in, saying that I wouldn't burden their system, I'd barely go in there. Moving ahead here, we got Elon Musk posting this. Congratulations to the Tesla team on making the first production cybercab. There it is, the very first cybercab. These are autonomous vehicles that drive around. Apparently you can buy one yourself for just driving yourself around. Yeah, we can't have that music in there. There's the cybercab. Yep, no steering wheel. It just drives itself. Interesting. They went with kind of a goldy kind of color. It's like a Cybertruck, but a car.